My father plans to reconcile with my cheating mother. I'm thinking about running away.
He shouldn't do that.
I am 17 male and had my worst birthday last week. Don't worry, buddy. There's plenty more. Context, my dad and egg donor divorced when I was 14. So yeah, this is going to be 3 years worth of details that happened. My egg donor cheated on my dad and had a year-long affair. Oh, we clearly don't like the mom. By the way, this comes from user Zealous Ideal Neck 2368. And if you want to submit your own stories, go to r/OK Storytime subreddit. My dad found out and while separating explained to me what happened. I was already mature and having big conversations with my dad, like politics, so he didn't hide anything. Imagine the conversation was just red, good, blue, bad. Yeah, I was 14 having big boy conversations. I was and still am disgusted with my donor. Should we just call her Deborah? Egg donor will heretofore be known as Deborah. Swore that day that I would never call her mom. Even now, I either call her by her name or just say, hey, you, at the start of the conversation.
So funny.
I moved in with her affair partner. Dad got the house, but unfortunately couldn't get full custody. I wasn't given a preference because while I was staying with my dad during the separation, I got into a fight at school. I have a bit of a temper issue. Deborah's lawyer used that incident to get joint custody until I turned 18. I was like, WTF in court. I think Deborah slept with the judge to get that ruling. My dad is a great human being, never raised his voice, and has always loved me so much. He occasionally says, I love you, son. Makes me cringe, but I accept it. My dad is a very loving person. He always says he has an ocean of love to give. He loved my mom so much. Whenever Deborah returned from work, my dad used to hug her, give her a kiss, and ask her how her day was. Yes, even when she was having a year-long affair. I don't know what kind of human she is to keep up that facade when your partner is loving you so much. Things became serious last month when I had a huge fight with my entire maternal side of the family. I was very close with my maternal grandparents, but I started distancing myself after the divorce. We visited my grandparents' house, and I was pissed that affair partner was present with Deborah, and the trip was for an entire weekend. I wasn't very keen on spending a weekend with them, but my dad convinced me it was going to be great, and boy, was he wrong. Past 2 years, my grandparents had asked me so many times to change my attitude towards Deborah, but I never cared. Things went crazy when they tried to have an intervention with me. Grandparents, Deborah, and affair partner were present. I was completely blindsided. All 4 of them were sitting opposite of me. They gave me the entire couch to sit by myself. It was like a therapy session. Egg donor and grandparents started their attack one by one while affair partner was silent. My temper took over and the a-hole version of me came out. I turned towards affair partner and said, hey, you, F off. This is between family. Honestly is fair. I don't think you should have the affair partner at whatever little intervention you're having to be like, you need to be okay with your mom existing.
It's like, shut up. You cheated with my mom.
Also, here's the person you arguably hate more than anyone on earth right now, the affair partner. Everyone was shocked at my tone. Deborah tried to end the intervention because she knew that what would happen when this side of me came out. My grandparents didn't budge. I'm their only grandson, and they didn't want to lose connection with me as I started distancing myself. Affair partner was ashamed and was leaving when I said other hurtful things. I said, she cheated on my dad with you. She'll cheat on you with someone else. Correct. So that caused more damage. He couldn't say a word, and then I hit the final blow. I hope your son also gets cheated on by his future wife so he can know what kind of an a-hole his father is. That hit him hard. He was angry and went out storming. And I will forgive that because you are between 14 and 16
Somewhere
in this moment.
between 14 and 17.
Which, yeah, it's very
Still a
black
child.
and white. And look, I'm not going to sit here and be like infidelity is okay or not bad. But it's like there's not usually always a black and white. There's a lot of gray stuff in the middle once you get into adult land, like why people do things. It's like, is his mom like an irredeemable monster for like being infidelitous? No, most likely no. Does it absolve her of like any responsibility or guilt coming from OP right now? Also no. But it's like, this is just a very emotionally charged teenager dealing with the implosion of his own family. Bro wanted to follow affair partner out the door, but I didn't let her go. I asked her to sit so once and for all we could finish this. Deborah started crying, saying, how How can her only son treat her this way? Well, Deborah, you should understand that you have upset him. Grandparents were disappointed in me. I turned towards my mom and started unloading everything. I explained how much I loved her, how much Dad loved her, and how she betrayed us. I brought out the instances when I used to sleep next to my mom after watching movies when I was 13, and said how she was my safe space, how much I cared for her, and everything. I hit her hard with just imagine how much you've ruined everything, that so much love turned to hatred.
And the thing is, I don't think OP does fully hate his mom. I think that when you care about someone so much and they betray you, so angry because you love them so much, and that love is not gone. Just so confusing, and you're like, you've made me so angry, and there's so much emotion in here because you were so important to me. He just doesn't have the words,
has zero experience,
and he needs therapy big time.
She couldn't control her sobbing after that. Even my grandparents started to cry. It was hard seeing my grandfather cry, but what can you do when you raise? Deborah started to shift blame towards my dad, saying he had poisoned me. Classic victim card move. The thing is, my dad, after the divorce, attended therapy sessions to get his life back on track. The last step of that therapy was to make a video about your feelings. My dad made a video about how he forgave Deborah and wished her a great life. He was supposed to send this video to Deborah but couldn't, so he sent it to me. I played the 2-year-old video and everyone just sat silently, no shocking reaction, no nothing, because they knew how great of a person my dad was. Deborah couldn't control her emotions. I even doubled down by saying, me and Dad loved you so much that we were ready to take a bullet for you, but now even if you pass away tomorrow, I will not be visiting your funeral. That's probably a little too far though. I'm not going to make anybody feel better. Not even you, OP.
It's just this is a kid who needs therapy so badly with all of that pain and stuff that he's going through.
I turned towards my grandparents and started shouting at them, asking how they could raise their daughter to be a cheater. I so wanted to use the W word, but controlled myself. I also said that now I can't trust girls in my school and am scared to get a girlfriend. Buddy, that was going to happen either way. Don't worry about that.
You gotta fix that now before OP gets this very unhealthy view of women, because very worrisome if that OP is saying this.
100%. Both my grandparents and Deborah didn't say anything. Couldn't stand there anymore and called my dad to pick me up. My grandparents apologized to my dad when he came to pick me up for how he was treated during the divorce. My dad knew something was up but didn't say anything. Deborah and a fair partner had gone out for a walk. I forgot to mention my dad started dating again and had met an amazing woman. She is also a divorcee with no kids. She treats my dad amazingly, and he deserves someone amazing. All of that huge fight in my grandparents' house led to what happened last week on my birthday. Oh, this was all a prelude. This wasn't even the story. Deborah came to my birthday without the affair partner, which was shocking, but I didn't care. After the party, both Deborah and my dad were having a conversation on the balcony, and I could hear everything. It was shocking to know that Dad and Deborah were in contact for a week before, where she begged my dad for forgiveness, and my dad forgave her. On the balcony, she was asking if they could reconcile and start a new chapter. I was shocked to hear that, as was my dad. She said she broke up with a fair partner because she realized she's still in love with Dad. What a load of bullcrap.
Oh, ouch.
This is where you go, Deborah, I forgave you, but I'm not forgetting.
Yeah.
There's a difference.
We've moved on.
I wish no ill upon you. However, I don't wish to have you back.
I don't love you. You may love me. Can't say the same about you.
Don't worry, Deb. You'll make it through. So, they had realized I heard everything and came into the living room so all three of us could discuss this. What was shocking was that my dad was actually considering saying we could again become a family.
Dating someone, no? Did you literally dating someone?
I shouted at him and asked him to recall how much Deborah betrayed us, how he had to go to therapy to get his life back on track. Dad was stuck in between. I tried everything to convince Dad, recalling how great our family was and that we could go back to that. I was having none of it and asked Egg Donor to leave. Dad asked me to speak respectfully to her. As I said, he is a great human. I even mentioned how a fair partner and Deborah were together for years but didn't get married. She said it was their choice. I couldn't take it anymore and went brutal on my dad. Teenager, anger problems. He said, when you were hugging and kissing your wife as soon as she came home, asking her how her day went, she was somewhere moaning to some other guy's strokes. You did not say that. Kimberly, fine. They literally stole your line. Literally, I saw it in there at some point. She's talking about back shots of words for the son and the dad.
Yeah.
Dad, talk to your therapist about this before you make any decisions.
Please stop putting your son in the middle of this.
It's not a time for this to be talked out.
No.
With your son.
No, don't be like, I'm
hates
thinking about
Deborah.
getting back with your mom. Like, no. Stop having that conversation with your son.
That was a huge whiff. An OP needs therapy.
Therapy.
Which is, again, the dad's responsibility. Dad's really dropping the ball on, like, what does OP actually need to thrive here?
I agree. Like, OP's like, oh, dad's such a great person. It's like, okay, but he's not taking into consideration what you need as a child.
Yeah. Where's your therapy? He got his therapy. Where's yours? That hit my dad hard. He looked at me in shock. I imagine that's a shocking thing to hear come out of the mouth of your child.
Yeah.
Also said, if they get back together, I will run away and never contact you. Say a word and just left to take a walk. I knew then and there I said something horrible. Deborah also left without saying anything. I called my dad. He did not pick up the first time, but when he did, I apologized and asked why he would ever consider taking her back. I said he has an amazing girlfriend right now, and this was something my dad didn't know. He thought I hated his girlfriend like I hated the affair partner. But as soon as I said that, he asked me to say the truth, whether I really like his girlfriend and wouldn't object if she became part of our family. I happily said yes, and that I wouldn't hesitate to call her mom. That's also therapy time.
I don't know. It feels like OP's like sting the situation to get with. Like, I don't think you would. Do you actually see her as your mom, or are you just saying that so that your dad won't get back together with your bio mom?
Well, I think OP has made the decision that his mom is dead to him.
Yeah.
And that now they're like, well, if you marry your girlfriend, then I can have a mom again. I can make her mom. But it's like, you can't.
Therapy.
Which is not something you can understand as a teenager, maybe inherently, unless you're like one of those, I feel like Millie Bobby Brown was a great example of just like a genius, emotionally genius kid. Well, because she played Stranger Things. A lot of times kids can't get emotion.
Well, I was like, what are you talking about?
Like, this is clearly one of those cases where it's like, it's not happening. Oh, I want to call her mom. Dad was very happy to hear that, which again, dad should have immediately been like, you need therapy if you're thinking that. When Deborah got around to knowing this, she got angry and asked how I could choose someone else over her. I said, I will pick even the devil over you. She said, I was heartless, and what I said and did was very hurtful. She was right about that.
Like, it's just big old therapy chant. No advice for you other than therapy.
My dad asked me to go to therapy and get my temper under control, as well as my mouth, and I am considering it. Grandparents called and said it's time to forgive Deborah like my dad did. I said no. Said what I said and did on my birthday was wrong. So am I the a-hole for saying to my father I will run away if he reconciles with my cheating mother?
I don't think the a-hole. I just think that you are very emotionally confused. Need a lot of help.
No one's the a-hole here except
the mom for cheating.
the mom.
I think your grandparents for saying that you have to forgive your mom. I don't think that anyone can rush your forgiveness or demand it. Your dad for not getting you into therapy sooner. I think there's just like a lot of mistakes being made.
Just a lack of therapy. I'd be like, if you're calling your mom the devil, we'll just end your
I guess you can.
the anger issues. It's like, I'm concerned. I'm like genuinely concerned about you. Hi guys, it's been 2 weeks since my original post, and I have come bearing an update. First things first, I read all your comments under my post. Man, people on Reddit love supporting cheaters. First, I'll answer a few doubts. For those who are saying my dad alienated me against Deborah, you need to know one thing. When dad got out of the house, she moved in with a fair partner, so I got to know at that time only that she cheated. My dad never said so. I was 14 when they separated, meaning I already knew what cheating meant. Coming to some good news, as you guys and my dad suggested, I started therapy. Yay! It's been great. Granted, only 2 sessions have happened, but still, it's great. There is a lot of anger and hatred that I have to deal with, and it's going to take some time getting over it. Now, coming to the update. I got a drunk call from the affair partner last week, and man, he revealed a lot. Affair partner didn't even know that he was a fair partner. Which
Why is he calling you?
Exactly. I don't know if I would trust a single word that comes out of the drunk affair partner calling you. Yeah, you guys heard that right. Egg donor, a.k.a. Deborah, while cheating, said that dad and her were separated and were sleeping in separate rooms, and also said that they were together now for my sake, and as soon as I joined high school, they were going to get divorced. I was shocked out of my mind as none of those were true. Dad and her always had date nights and had also gone on a trip, just the two of them, in that 1 year she was cheating. Her partner said he didn't know about any of that and thought he was in a legitimate relationship until I spilled everything at my grandparents' house. I find that very, very hard to believe. He said the comment about his son was a real kick in the pants, and that's when he decided to break up with Deborah. He said, have a good life, and cut the call. Man, I feel bad for affair partner. He didn't know he was in a cheating relationship. Now this all makes sense. Remember when I said F off to affair partner in my grandparents' house? Egg donor tried to stop the intervention, but I cut her off and spilled everything. Even my grandparents know the entire truth. Everybody
Was a little bit
being
duped.
lied, like even her parents. That's why I was
Yeah.
like, how are we going to, really? I then confronted my mom about all of this. My egg donor was first angry that affair partner drunk called me, and I guess she is still a mother. Then she came clean and started crying, saying that she still loved Dad, but this was like an adrenaline rush kind of thing, and she just made a mistake. I just cut the call as I couldn't hear any more excuses. She said one thing, that I shouldn't tell my dad as he is happy now, and she doesn't want to disturb his happiness. What? He already knows. Because, by the way, you can listen to full episodes with stories that are a little more easy to believe than this one on Spotify, iHeartRadio, Apple Podcasts, wherever you listen to podcasts. Just search OK Storytime. You've got the full archive there. And you can listen to every single story and tell us all which ones you think are not real. And you'll just have to listen to every single story. That's going to take you 54 days in a row.
And you can make a little tally and say, this is not real.
Even I think I shouldn't say anything to my dad, especially about affair partner drunk dialing me, because I know for sure Dad is going to ruin his life. For those wondering, my dad is rich and his lawyers are sharks. Get this, my parents never signed a prenup, yet Deborah did not get anything in the divorce except for custody. My dad has connections, so I don't know what he will do to affair partner. I'm thinking of going no contact with mom after I turn 18 and go to college. It's because I loved her for 14 years, and going no contact is a scary thought. So guys, what should I do? Should I go no contact? You know what? I think before you make any of those decisions, you should just keep going to therapy.
Keep going to therapy.
And that is where you're not going to find out whether you should go no contact with your mom
until you go
on
to therapy.
Reddit.
Nope.
You're going to find out whether you contact with your mom in therapy.
But that's the end of that story.